It is the year of the protest, and unlike many of the others, I don't see much legitimacy to this one. This is a very silly organization trying to end the horse-drawn carriage industry in St. Louis, and they had a protest at Tillis Park the other night. Goes without saying, they have every right to express all their opinion however they want, but it got scary a year or two ago when the head of the St. Louis City Health Department expressed a desire to shut down the horse and carriage industry. Well, she was acting in her capacity as the head of the health department, not just a protester. So that was frightening. This is an industry that provides a service that people like. If I used to work in this industry, I have been a stable boy for 2,000 pound
Cut
draft
it
horses.
out.
I have.
Do you still wear the chaps like around the house with the little woman? Sorry, should I not have gone there?
How do we go there?
Is this on? Sorry, we had Lola Vanella here earlier.
Yeah, he's still kind of in that mood.
I understand.
Okay, how long ago was this?
That was a long time ago. I think it was about 15 or 16.
It's always good to have a backup plan. You know?
I can go back to that job cleaning out horse stalls any day.
So you can speak to the treatment of these beautiful animals.
They're treated wonderfully. I mean, the idea that if there wasn't a horse and carriage industry, again, this is happening in New York, as Mayor de Blasio has been trying to regulate it out of existence as well. I mean, nobody's going to breed and have these horses if you can't put them to work at some extent.
Right.
You're not just going to have a 2,000 pound Belgian draft that eats a ton of food and just have it in your yard.
Right.
I mean, you're going to keep it, and they have to, in order to live their lives, they have to pull a carriage for a couple hours a day, which is very simple for them to do. They're enormously strong.
It seems like the protest kind of came out of the blue, though. I mean, nothing has happened as of late.
They were protesting on the anniversary of a horse that died pulling a carriage at Tillis Park. But it's my understanding that death was just a horse a horse whose time had come. There wasn't some malnourishment or terrible treatment that caused the death of the horse.
I understand he left a note.
He did.
No? I'm sorry, I should just stop talking here. You go right ahead. Go back to what you're doing.
So it's important that we not allow the city, and thankfully most city politicians were appalled at the idea of the health department's comments that she wanted to get rid of the industry, that we not allow people to regulate this business out of existence. It's a very nice business, and these horses are very well kept.
Now Uber's going to get in it. They're going to have Uber horse pullers that'll come and pick you up. So the industry's fine, right? So nothing's going to happen.
We don't need to regulate Uber or horse Uber at all.
But it was kind of I was trying to segue. The taxi cab commission, a little shake up there, a couple people stepping down from that. And I imagine Uber comes into play in this one.
Oh, absolutely. The chair, Lou Hamilton, who was an Uber and Lyft and other ride sharing, certainly an opponent of theirs, and Chris Summers, the strongest supporter of ride sharing on the commission, have both resigned in the past week or two. So that'll be very interesting to see how the new taxi cab commission takes shape next year. I believe the county has already appointed somebody to fill Hamilton's spot, or at least they appointed a new person from the taxi cab industry a few weeks ago. So that doesn't appear that that'll be much of a change. If it's somebody from the taxi cab industry, they're going to keep trying to work to keep Uber and Lyft out as much as possible. And it's unfortunate that Uber, Lyft, ride-sharing services had to sue to get the right to work here. But unfortunately, they have. And my wife and I use Uber fairly frequently now they're here in St. Louis. I think a lot of other St. Louisans are. And as we approach New Year's Eve, which is the time of year where you want surge pricing, you want people to be able to charge more so that more people get out and provide the service. We want thousands of people offering drives on New Year's so we don't see the repeat of what we had 2 years ago, where we had none of the taxi cab drivers wanted to work on a busy night where they couldn't charge anymore. So why deal with drunks? And we had a disaster in the area for taxi cab service.
Well, they can now utilize the draft horse that they've had in their yard, doing absolutely nothing. The other story that you had on the docket was about what? I can't even read my own handwriting. More tax credits. Here we go. Giving money away. Who is it this time?
Well, that is exactly how people should respond. It's just so common now.
Right.
These are sold tax credits and tax subsidies, an idea to sort of the hand up, not the handout, to businesses maybe in blighted areas. But now they're just so common. Here we have Lockerdome, a great local startup, as they've expanded their tech startup business. But now the state's going to give them up to $3.5 million to move across the street.
Why?
Because these tax subsidies and tax credits, it's nothing more than they're there for the asking right now.
Well, why are they even moving across the street?
Well, they're growing, which is a wonderful thing. And here we have a statement from the governor, and it's an unfortunate statement, just saying that growth like this at Lockerdome are proof that state investments through the Missouri Technology Corporation are growing jobs in this state. It's another example of a politician taking credit for job growth through a subsidy-based approach.
And so Jay Nixon won't come on the show. There, McGraw wanted me to get that in every time I fill in. So,
but it's unfortunate to see him do that, because politicians of both parties do this all the time. They give a subsidy, some type of business grows, and they claim credit that the government created this growth, and it's just so false. And all the economic evidence out there indicates that this subsidy-based approach to economic development does not work. Taking other people's money and having economic development officials choose, some businesses get it and some businesses don't. It's a failed strategy. And Missouri's economic growth, we rank 49th out of the 50 states over the past couple decades in economic growth. So maybe the state and local heavy subsidy approach to it isn't actually working, despite all the credit they try and claim every time they can.
and this coming on the heels of Worldwide Technology just getting how much in tax breaks?
Millions and millions, and I don't know the exact number.
They moved
for
a block. They
Right.
did move farther than across the street, though.
Well, we remember Leclerc Gas. We discussed it with McGraw several times 2 years ago. Got $7 million to move 2 blocks. So that's just how crazy it is right now for businesses that can hire the lawyers, can hire the financiers to help them get it done. It's not hard. The tax money from average ordinary Missourians is there for their taking. And these tax credits, very rarely, it's a great press release, a great groundbreaking for whatever it is. Very rarely does it actually come to fruition to the type that you hear. Now, sometimes, the money doesn't get spent when it doesn't come to fruition, so at least they have that. But in other times, they wouldn't sell it in the first place if they weren't overpromising and pledging to overdeliver. The fact is, they very rarely deliver, and we've got to make changes to the number of subsidies we give out in this state.
It's David Stokes from the Show Me Institute. Always good to visit with you, sir.
Thanks, John.
you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Stable Boy. Did you know that? He's
Yes,
been
I
on the
did.
show. You
Yeah.
knew that already?
Yes.
Learned something every I did not know. I would not have him pegged for a Stable Boy.
I wouldn't either, but